Start recording now. All right. Do you guys have a little recording icon? Good. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Engineering Student Council service webinar. We're excited to share how you can find opportunities with service, and thank you to all of our guest speakers who've come to talk about the organizations and the opportunities you guys have there. So why should you do service? Well, you help yourself, help your community, feel good about yourself. It's a good way to make friends if you're a first year especially. You can grow some essential skills that help you throughout your life, including teamwork skills, communication skills, and depending on what you do, some technical skills as well. It can also help you if you happen to be pre-med and you're looking for medical opportunities. It also helps you with networking, get to know a lot of other students, and helps you become an overall better rounded engineer. So this is a very general getting started finding service opportunities if you don't know where to go at all. There's the UVA service portal is very helpful for all this. I'll follow the link to it now to kind of show you what it has. So it posts right here some highlighted service opportunities that are current right now. And then down here, there's also a couple of major highlighted resources you look into. Madison House is a big one at UVA you've probably heard about before that has all kinds of opportunities in a bunch of different fields, including medical services. If you're looking to do, you can find more specific or even make your own opportunities here as well. UVA also offers a host of classes that are centered towards service. So if you follow this link, there's a subcategory on Lou's list of everything that has to do with service. And this includes both more humanities-based things where you can become more educated on subjects, as well as technical aspects if you wanted to explore career paths that are related to service. There's also opportunities for funding if you have your own service ideas. This webpage is just it's everything you need if you need to get started on service.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can sort of show off that volunteering work. So service opportunities are a great way to get experience with working with other people, networking, and getting those valuable skill sets. So of course, that should be something you should be advertising on your resume that makes you a strong applicant, whether that be for other positions, whether that be for jobs, grad school, med school, anything like that. So we just have some statistics here to show that, but 82% of hiring managers pick resumes with volunteer experiences listed. And volunteer opportunities are a great way to sort of emphasize any leadership experience you've had in organizations, the impact you're making on your community, and any relevant skill sets that you've gained in the process of volunteering. So it's a really great way to sort of show employers what you bring to the table by listing that on your resume. So a little bit more specifically on some tips for resumes. There are a lot of different ways that you can volunteer you can highlight your volunteer work on your resume. So it's going to be really important for you to choose which way flows the best with what you want to emphasize on your resume, as well as your desired position or job you're looking at. So one thing that you can do is emphasize volunteering as a professional experience. This may be particularly helpful if you don't have previous work experience, because this shows commitment, working with other people, collaborative nature, and any other skill sets that maybe you haven't had the opportunity to gain in like paid employment, but you still gain those skill sets in volunteering. Additionally, you can make the connection between volunteering and your skill sets. So maybe on your resume, you have a separate section for skills. It can be really beneficial for you to speak a little bit to how you gain those skills through volunteering opportunities, if that's your case scenario. And then lastly, you also can just create a separate volunteering section on your resume. If you don't think your volunteering experience relates specifically to your desired job of choice or that industry or field. But that's really beneficial because that can show another sort of side of you and that aspect of a well-rounded engineer. And it can also show a different side of yourself and a different set of skills that could be useful to emphasize when you're talking with those employers. So we went briefly over some ways that you can incorporate volunteering on your resume, but by no means is that the end all and be all. So specifically for the engineering school, if you haven't heard of them, the Center for Engineering Career Development, this team of people are amazing. I actually went last week to have my resume looked at, but they provide one-on-one help for you to look over your resume, get any feedback. If you want to work on specific elements such as how should I incorporate volunteering for this specific job or school or program I'm applying to. This team's a really good resource for you, so I encourage you to reach out to them. They also have resume drop-in hours where you can get feedback as well. So overall, just a really great opportunity to get that feedback. And the way you reach out to them is you go on your Handshake account and you can make a Zoom appointment with one of their team members. So if that's something of interest to you and you already have some volunteering experience that you're sort of trying to work and incorporate into a resume, feel free to reach out to them as a resource.
And now we're going to talk about some organizations that couldn't be here with us today, but did give us some information about what they do and maybe how you can get involved. So the first organization is a bit more general. So it's a co-ed service frat. So it's co-ed, meaning there's both girls and boys in the organization. And like a traditional fraternity or sorority, they have a recruitment process. And they also have like bigs and littles and social events and things like that. So you definitely get that part of the experience. Something that's a little different is that they rush both in the fall and the spring. So that gives you 2 opportunities to get involved. And they also do things like spring break trips, summer trips. So if you're interested in that, I definitely say check them out. Their chapter at UVA is the Theta chapter. So that link over there will give you direct access to their website and maybe specific things about their rush process. And then Darinya is their recruitment chair, so you could also reach out to him. And for the first time ever, I think, they're actually having an open recruitment. So anyone that fills out the new member form will have a position in the rush class. So definitely no barrier to entry there.
And with these links, we're going to send out the slides as well, so don't worry about that.
And then we have Trigon, which is another service society that's also co-ed. They rush only in the fall, and they have their service events incorporated into rush, as well as just events with the members. And on top of that, they have a lot of other social events. So they'll have like semi-formals, so things that you'd get from a more traditional fraternity or sorority. And then like APO, they also do spring break and summer events, and they also give out scholarships. So Trigon is, I'd say, probably more engineering focused than APO, but it is still open to non-engineering majors. And then finally, just to maybe get something a little bit more technical, because I know that when we talk about volunteering, a lot of times we focus on more general opportunities, but if you are interested in something that, you know, unites those like technical and non-technical skills, I'd say maybe consider Forge, or you might know them as Hexiville. So they've been trying to offer more community-oriented opportunities for their members and groups in the community. So what they will do is these things called impact sprints. So groups of like 5 to 10 students, roughly over 2 weeks, and you can do as many sprints as you want in a semester. What they'll do is they'll match those students with a community partner. So I think ones they've done in the past are Computers for Kids or Sustainability at UVA, as well as some cultural organizations making websites for them. So the skills can range from like marketing and UX stuff to data stuff or even software. So I think a lot of these skills are, a lot of engineering students especially are really interested in learning these skills. So if you're going to learn them, you might as well do it in a way that also benefits the community. So definitely check out Forge. The contact information is on this next slide. So the overall impact program leader is Ben, so you can reach him at that. email and also on Slack. And then if you just want more information about Forge in general, about like the skills that they offer in the programs, you can just look at their general email.
All right, now we're on to our section where we have guest speakers to talk about the organizations. So CARS actually has their own slides that we're going to let them share their screen for.
Sorry about that. My name is Clayton Geipel. I am a graduate student in the Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering Department. And throughout my time as an undergraduate and a graduate student, I had the privilege of working with the Charlottesville Rescue Squad, which is kind of a different volunteering option, a little bit away from engineering. The squad has a little over 100 volunteers, the majority of whom are University of Virginia students. And there are shifts around the clock responding to 911 calls in both the city of Charlottesville and the surrounding county of Albemarle. So volunteers typically run 12-hour shifts, either the day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. or the night 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And it's a really exciting way to give back to the community through several different roles. By becoming an EMT and providing patient care at either a basic level, which is just sort of standard life-saving measures, or an advanced life support level where you get additional training to give IV fluids, IV drugs, and some more advanced care. Volunteers also serve as vehicle operators, both for the ambulances and some of the larger specialty vehicles, and also function in several different specialty roles that I'll go into in a moment. As was just mentioned, some of these non-engineering volunteer roles allow engineers to display a really well-rounded resume outside of their particular technical niche. I know for me, in my recent job search, volunteer experience like this was really important to employers, and I've heard the same from some of my colleagues. And for me, this was sort of a way to get away from the e-school and to do something completely different. So what do we do at the Rescue Squad? A lot of it is patient care. And during COVID, this is sort of a stock photo made to demonstrate sort of how things are different in COVID. We have a lot of extra personal protective equipment that you're going to see responders wearing. That has sort of been interesting, but we've been able to roll with it. And you get some really useful skills, even life skills, from learning how to be a patient care provider, because it sort of forces you to learn how to interact with people in very stressful environments and make quick decisions. But that's not all we do. This is our heavy rescue truck, where we carry a lot of supplies for all kinds of different calls, vehicle rescue, some remote access rescue where we have all-terrain vehicles, and there's also a water rescue side of the organization. So there's all kinds of different ways to contribute here that are really important to the community. But on top of all that, the squad is this really tight-knit community of volunteers that acts kind of like a family away from your family, that has allowed a lot of people to be able to give back to the community in a bunch of different ways. Like on the right, you can see trick-or-treating on the lawn. It's really just a group of people that really enjoys interfacing with the community and helping in whatever way we can. If you're interested, I've got 2 email addresses. The first is the membership committee, and the second is my own, in case you have any questions.
Thank you, Clayton. We'll get now, our next speaker is from NESFI.
Awesome.
Hello, Alicia.
Hi, everyone. Hi. So hi everyone, my name is Alicia Land, and I am a second year computer science major, and I am the pre-college initiative chair for NSB. And today I'm going to talk to you a bit about what I do and also how you can help in the Charlottesville community with NSB Junior. So you can go to the next slide. So first, just a little background of what NSB is. So NSB is the National Society of Black Engineers here at the University of Virginia. And NSB is one of the largest student-governed organizations based in the United States. So our mission is to increase the number of culturally responsible Black engineers who excel academically, succeed professionally, and positively impact the community. So a lot of what we do on grounds is just that. We have a lot of events that we have a lot of companies come in where we do networking and recruitment, as well as community service. And a part of that is our connection with NSB Junior. And so NSB Junior is a program which is designed to stimulate the interest in STEM. And the goal is to encourage students from grades K through 12 to attend college and pursue technical degrees. You can go to the next slide here. So a part of this NSB Junior program, a lot is changed this year, obviously, because of COVID. So a lot of what we're doing is virtual, but that doesn't stop us. We still meet every week. And how the program usually works is every semester there will be a different project that the students will work on. And we mostly work with Albemarle High School, but we do have a lot of the students in across Charlottesville in the different elementary and middle schools. So as a volunteer, what you would do is thoroughly design an engineering project for each semester that will allow the students of NSB Junior to get exposure to different fields of engineering. So a lot of this will be for next semester because we're already kind of in motion in this semester's project, but there are some opportunities I will talk about for the rest of the semester. But a lot of what you'll be doing is in the beginning of the semester, we'll work together with volunteers and you'll work with me and we'll create a semester-long engineering program or project for them to work on, and we'll work with Ms. Early, who's our advisor in the Charlottesville area. And once a week for 2 hours, we will meet with the students on Zoom, and we're looking for people that want to work with middle school and elementary age students. So we'll create this project, and yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a lot of opportunity to be very creative, work in the community, and yeah, work with engineering, but also with kids, which is really fun. We can go to the next slide. So as we talked about, it's very project-based, and so I do want to talk a bit about what we're doing this semester, just to give you a feel of what that would look like and kind of the project that we're going to do next semester, what it could look like, but it could also be something way different. So this semester, we're actually working on an app for COVID for Albemarle High School to use, and it will work as a contact tracing application. And yeah, so we're in the midst of doing that, and that has been really amazing. This is my first year actually in this position, and I worked with the students all summer on this and into the fall, and it's been a super amazing opportunity meeting with them once a week, and as well as working with some faculty from the different schools in Charlottesville, Ms. Early, our advisor, and the students. We also have a group of professional software engineers working with us to really create this project, and we're actually working with the school board and in Charlottesville. So that's been really awesome. So that's just kind of a look at something we could do. But it's also depends on who we bring in. I know we have someone volunteered for volunteering for next semester that's cognitive science in the college. So it's really just what you bring to the table and what we can do. But also don't think it's going to be a lot of heavy lifting. A lot of that is on my side, but we want your creativity. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for what we do. And yeah, I can put my email in the chat if you have any questions or if you want to sign up or anything. But thank you so much. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Alicia. Our next group is Casa Alma.
Great, thank you. My name is Laura Brown, and I'm the co-founder and resident director of Casa Alma. We're a nonprofit in Charlottesville. We operate houses of hospitality for families who would otherwise be homeless, and we have an urban homestead and a community residence. We're a Catholic worker community, which means we're part of a grassroots network of communities across the US where people live simply or even in voluntary poverty and have the aim of meeting the immediate needs of people in their community, particularly those who are poor and marginalized. And we also work for structural and systemic change toward justice and peace. We're an all volunteer community, so myself and my husband and other resident volunteers are joined by non-resident volunteers to do all the work of Casa Alma, and we really welcome people of any age, any skill level, any background, any way of living to join us in this work. Take the next slide. So since 2009, we've been welcoming students to volunteer on site. We work both with individuals and groups to transform these 3 properties we have into a sustainable homestead. Right now we have a partnership with both Madison House and the Alpha Phi Omega Service Fraternity, and again, individuals from the university as well. People who come to volunteer see that we have just over half an acre of land. And on that half an acre, we have very extensive gardens, fruit trees, berry bushes. We have 3 Nigerian dwarf goats. They're probably the most popular draw. We have a flock of laying hens and about 10 beehives. And I think people who come to Casa Alma say they experience this place as a place of abundance, a place that's productive, and it's a really welcome break for a lot of people from the kind of intense academic pressure of the university to just come and get your hands in the dirt and work together with others and hopefully learn some new skills. So you can have the next slide. All of our opportunities for volunteers are outdoors now, and they rotate by season. So if you were to come and volunteer, you might learn how to harvest sweet potatoes or tomatoes or peppers or herbs. We grow a lot of things. You might learn to split and stack firewood, gather blueberries, dig and mulch paths, weed. We definitely do a lot of weeding. Strawberry beds, all of the garden beds, all of the perennial plantings. Clearly, all of the different tasks of the garden through the year, transplanting, and also establishing new beds. And we provide all of the tools that are needed. We wear masks, we maintain safe distance. We work year round. We don't work in active rain or snow. And we have sessions that run from about 90 minutes to 2 hours. And I'd say that volunteers have the possibility here of really learning new skills, folks who are willing to be flexible and adapt, because it's really different every time a set of volunteers comes. We'll teach you how to use a shovel. If you've never used a shovel before, we've taught a lot of people. And we have fun because we're building these gardens so that we can create food for the families who live at Casa Alma, and then anything in excess we share with local food pantries. So if you are interested, I will send out my name and email in the chat. You can be in touch with me, and I'll close with one piece of advice. As the director of a nonprofit, I get a lot of inquiries about volunteering, and sometimes people will throw out a lot of inquiries about volunteering, which I think is, totally natural. I would really encourage folks to set up a time for either a visit or a virtual tour for the organizations that you're interested in, because that will really give you a sense of whether you feel like it's kind of an exciting and stimulating place to be and resonates with you in some way. So don't feel like you have to send out notices to people to say, oh, I definitely want to volunteer, because I know, at least for myself, and I think a lot of other people in my position, we're just really happy to share what we're doing with a wider community. And so when people contact to say, hey, I'm just kind of curious about what you guys have going on, maybe could I come for a visit? It's like a no obligations required opportunity to share. So I'll close with that. Invite people to contact me if you would like a tour or come for a visit or come to volunteer. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Our next group is Alternative Spring Break.
Hi, thank you to all of my co-presenters. It's been really interesting to hear from all of you about all the interesting work you're doing. My name is Ned Flanagan. I'm a third year at UVA, and I'm the president of Alternative Spring Break this year. If you go to the next slide, cool. Thank you. So what is Alternative Spring Break? We're a student-run service organization offering service trips for UVA students. So the bulk of our activities happen in the spring, but we also offer fall service opportunities. So this fall we've been running day-long Saturday service series events where we work with community partners like the Haven, Habitat for Humanity, Shenandoah National Park, just different organizations in Charlottesville to do day-long service events with small groups of UVA students. But this spring we'll be running 14 trips that go across the United States. The trips are drug and alcohol free, and they're just a great way to meet people from across UVA. So students from all different majors, all different years, different involvements, a really great way to meet new people. And this year we're celebrating our 28th year at UVA. So what would you do on your ASB trip? The goal is really to engage in meaningful service, reflection, and group bonding. So almost every day on your trip, you'll spend pretty much the morning through 6 p.m. working with your site partner, and then the afternoon, evening is free for you to explore the area you're in, enjoy the culture, like the landscape, wherever you are. So we have trips in a lot of national parks. You can do hiking and enjoy the natural beauty there, or we also have trips in cities. You can explore the city, try some of the famous food, whatever area you're in. As I mentioned in the last slide, the group's of about 10 students, so it's a great way to meet new people. And our hope is also that you return to Charlottesville with a new perspective that you can bring to engage with the UVA and Charlottesville communities. So our hope is not that your service is restricted to that 1 week over the spring, but you continue to engage with us and engage with other service partners in Charlottesville to make it really like a year-long commitment. This year, like I said, we have 14 different trips, and the trips are in 3 main buckets. So we have environmental trips, which work with the National Park Service. As you can see here, we have like 6 different trips that work with different national parks. So you'll be doing whatever the National Park Service needs help with, which is usually trail maintenance, invasive species removal, really whatever they need. But it's really great opportunity if you enjoy being outside in some of the most beautiful areas of the country. And most of these trips also camp. So if you're interested in camping, if you've never gone camping before, it's a great opportunity. The other type of trip we offer are human services trips, which engage more with nonprofits that work directly with groups of people. So last year I led a trip to San Juan, Texas, which is near McAllen on the border with Mexico. And we worked with a group called Proyecto Azteca, which works with the immigrant community there and helps build affordable housing. And there's a trip in Austin that works with a homeless shelter. So it's a great way to directly engage with different people while you're doing service. And then the last type of trip we offer are housing trips, which work almost exclusively with Habitat for Humanity. So if you are interested in helping to build a house, paint a house, repair a house, it's a really great way to do that. And that photo is from New Orleans. We have 2 different trips to go to New Orleans, and then the other locations that you see here. So pretty broad array of trips for all different kinds of interests. So yeah, just to keep it brief, this QR code goes to our website, which has more information on every trip. It has the 2 student site leaders and the trip costs, as well as the full logistical details of the trip. Our application, our like first round application actually closed this past weekend, but our rolling application is going to remain open until all of our spots are filled. With 14 trips, we have 140 available spaces, and we've filled about 110. So there's still more spots if people are interested. One main thing we really want to highlight is that trip cost shouldn't be a barrier. We offer financial aid for any student who qualifies for financial aid through UVA. So that'll be up to half the cost of your trip. And there's also opportunities to apply for grants that go anywhere from $50 up to $250. So our goal is really to make these trips as accessible as possible for any UVA student who's interested in going on a trip. Lastly, as other presenters have mentioned, COVID-19 has obviously affected our programming. So we would do a lot of our organization and reservations in the fall semester, which we've pushed back, but we've been in touch with the UVA administration and are confident that we can make safe trips a possibility in the spring. So we'll continue to update you throughout the application process and the selection process as kind of new developments happen. But definitely would encourage you to check out our Instagram and Facebook, which are there. Our website is really just a great resource that has the whole exec board, our emails, and lots of information. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to my email, which is listed there on the slide. But would definitely encourage everybody to give it a shot. It's really inclusive, fun community of students who are passionate about engaging in service.
All right, thank you to all of our speakers. It was all like super interesting. Lots of cool opportunities, lots of diverse, different opportunities. So now we'd like to open up to a Q&A. If you'd like to ask a question, you can just unmute yourself and ask, or if you prefer, you can put something in the chat. All right, well, will you guys generate any questions you may have? I think Bella and Navia will make a few questions we could ask to kick this off.
Yeah, so this is more just a general question. But what are some of the opportunities within your organizations to either branch out into different roles or to like develop some like leadership skills?
Sorry, I think the question was cut off at the end, at least for me. Do you mind repeating it?
Yeah, of course. I know something weird happened. Within like your own organizations, what are some opportunities to maybe like branch out to do like different things, or some opportunities to maybe develop some like leadership skills?
I can talk about that a bit. So as a part of NSU Junior, the main point is making this project. And I know as engineers, that's pretty much what we're going to be doing after we graduate, working on different projects. So you'll be able to gain those skills by putting together a project and creating that plan of what that's going to look like, and having these students that have no idea what's going on, but having to explain that to them, and I think really can help your leadership skills and your teamwork skills, because that's what you'll be doing.
I would second that to say at Casa Alma, as folks come here week after week, either during the academic year or also during the summer, the skills that they learn, then we invite them to share with other newer volunteers. So there are opportunities for leadership and a kind of informal mentoring too, because there's really a lot to learn in terms of all of the different systems that we have in place on the homestead, and we're trying to make it so that the output of each system is an input for another system. So yeah, we rely on volunteers who have more experience to help those volunteers for whom some of the tasks are newer.
For the rescue squad, I think something somewhat similar happens. Learning is constant there, largely because the turnover is very fast at this organization and several others. I think a lot of students come in as first years and end up leaving by their fourth year, meaning there's always someone someone above you is teaching you their job, and you're teaching your job to the next generation all the time, whether it's patient care or driving the truck. And then there are lots of leadership opportunities that people end up coming into after they've had some experience. The first typical one is being in charge of the nightly crew that might have as many as 10 or 15 people.
Yeah, just really quickly for alternative spring break, as I said, it's completely student run. So the two main leadership routes are applying to become a site leader. So after you've been on a trip, you can lead a trip with a co-site leader. So you're 100% in charge of planning all the logistics of the trip and recruiting participants and carrying out the trip, like the trip itself, and making sure everything goes smoothly. And then we also have our exec board, which kind of manages our operations throughout the year and the application cycle and just dealing with any issues. And all the exec positions are listed on our website too. So definitely lots of opportunities to take on a leadership role.
And I'll just jump in on behalf of APO and Trigon. They also have opportunities for leadership in the form of like chairs. So they'll have like brush chairs, social chairs, and even volunteering or service chairs. So that's just, I guess, another pathway.
Bella, do you want to jump in and talk about Engineering Student Council in this question?
Yeah, that would probably be a good thing to do. Yeah, so I know Cole, Navi, and we all have some type of leadership position with Engineering Student Council, but there's a lot of opportunities within Engineering Student Council to either be involved in committees and sort of take charge of certain projects or areas of interest, or sort of in our case scenario, serve as like chairs and vice chairs. So again, coordinating events like these and things like that. So I know I've had like a really fun time developing these skill sets and working with other people as well. But Engineering Student Council, there's also a lot of opportunities to both volunteer and give back to like the engineering community while also developing those skills as well.
Yeah, we're part of the service committee of Engineering Student Council, and it's really nice to be able to put together our own events and learn the skills to put together something that's meaningful to the community. I have a question for Clayton. I was just curious. I know a lot of biomedical engineering students are taking a pre-med track, and it sounds like working with like a medical service type thing, like your organization, would be really helpful. Is that something that you see a lot of? There are a lot of pre-med people who go to your organization?
Absolutely. In fact, I think if I took a poll of the student membership, more than 80 or 90% would say that they're on a pre-med track, and most of the rest are on a nurse track or a physician's assistant kind of track. I think I was kind of an outlier being a non-medically focused person there, but all kinds of people get pre-med experience that I think is highly valued through the Rescue Squad.
All right, I had another general question for everyone. What's been like the most meaningful experience, or what do you enjoy most about your organization?
For me, it was the sort of the variety in that no two shifts at the Rescue Squad were the same. You'd always be surprised by the kinds of things that you got called for, and it led you to meet a lot of new people and a lot of different situations that make for some really good stories, and I've had a lot of fun doing it.
I can say for Casa Alma, it's similar in that every time of volunteering is different. You might find a baby box turtle in the blueberry patch one day, or maybe it's a snake, or maybe there's a family and their 12-year-old son is also volunteering and kind of running around holding a chicken because he's really excited about it. So it's different, it's fun, but I think on the serious side, it really cultivates a sense of appreciation for the abundance of the natural world and the ways, both whether it's at a homestead kind of level or really much smaller, that we can be attentive to caring for that abundance and really, I think just cultivating that sensibility that it's a pretty miraculous earth that we live on, and being able to see the process of, from seed to start to plant to harvest, or even little slices of that, I think is pretty gratifying. And anytime there's a harvest here and volunteers are around and available for it, we're always inviting folks to take home stuff with them. So if you want to learn how to cook some of the items that grow really well in Central Virginia, those are the things we're growing.
I would say definitely working with the kids and the students, and just being able to see them get so excited about engineering, especially so National Society of Black Engineers, but also it's open to really any underrepresented students in STEM. So that's also been really amazing to see them so inspired, and hopefully just being able to make an impact in the amount of Black and Latinx students in STEM. So.
Yeah, I think I would echo what other people have said. I think for me, it's just been relationship building with both other students and the community partners we work with. I think it's just been incredible to like the amount of people you meet and grow close with, and also the leaders, like the service leaders we engage with of like National Park Service, of Charlottesville organizations, just really inspiring work that people are doing. Getting the opportunity to meet them and learn about kind of their journey and how they got into the work they're doing has been really interesting for me.
I guess I'll speak a little bit on Engineering Student Council. I think what's been most meaningful to me was kind of what I was saying before. I really enjoy having the feeling that a program or an event that I helped plan and coordinate together is able to help people in the community in a meaningful way. All right. Does anyone have any more questions? If not, I want to thank all of our presenters to come today and talk about the organizations. Again, it was all super interesting, and it was good to get some information on a diverse group of opportunities. And I hope this was helpful to all of you watching this. Thank you for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.